What is happening, guys? Welcome back to Red Beard's Garage, and today we're going to be getting the 999cc go-kart back into the shop because when we built it, we did not build the little extensions on the swing arm, so it had like probably 8 to 10 inches of exposed axle. And if you guys have messed with any off-road buggies with 1-inch axles, it'll bend them every single time. You can't leave any exposed axle that's not supported. So we got to pull it in the shop. We got a brand new 54-inch axle from Go Power Sports that we're going to slap on it, and then we're going to plasma cut some new supports for that outside, just like we did on the gym car. We built that swing arm for the gym car and supported it out there. That means that axle will last a lifetime and never bend. So we need to do the same thing to this go-kart. Now, this go-kart's been sitting outside literally since we rode it in that video because we bent the axle pretty much immediately, and the front end is absolutely garbage. So I think the mission today is get the new axle put on and then take it for a short rip around the woods and to see if everything's good with it. We do have to clean the carburetor. I think water went down the throttle cable that goes in the top of the carb and flooded out the carb with water. Hopefully no damage has been done to the engine. Hopefully no water's gotten to the engine. I'm pretty sure there hasn't, but just in case, we'll spray some blaster down through the spark plug holes to lube up anything to, you know, keep from any damage. So we are going to be building a double A arm front suspension on this later, and then we're going to do an independent rear suspension with a reverse gearbox. But for now, we just want to get it running so we can ride it one more good time, and then we can put it on the chopping block to do the front end, because I really like the chassis. I love the engine. The engine's insane. It's like having a built 670 right out of the box. They're expensive, but $2 grand well worth it in my opinion, because 1,000 cc's, and I mean, it's just got so much torque. 60 foot-pounds of torque is what it dynoed at Performance 670. So let's get out there, push it in the shop. We'll get the battery on trickle charge, and we'll pull that axle off. So let's do it. All right, we got this old hog in the shop. I had to push it in, and we got the battery on the charger. This is a lithium battery off of Amazon, a NLP30. What I'm gonna first do is try to get it started, because the thing's set outside, and I think what has happened is rain has went down both this as well as into the filter and shot into the carb. So first I'm gonna check the oil. I'm gonna pull the spark plugs, turn the engine over, make sure no water's in the cylinder. Then I'm going to put a little bit of Multi-Max formula, which is Blaster's more lubricant style fluid, down in the cylinders. Let that soak for a few minutes, and again I'm going to check the oil, make sure there's no water sitting in the oil that I can see, and then we'll get this thing fired up. First off, the oil doesn't look like it has any water in it. Let's recheck it. Yep, so oil is good, and there's no water that I can see on the dipstick anyways. All right, next is pull this Mikuni air filter, look down in the bowl, and then just pull the carb and start cleaning it. That air filter started to deteriorate. You can see light through it, so that's trash. All right, so no rust on the slide. That's a good sign, because if you have rust on the slide, then you know the carb's had water in it. No gas. Okay, it has a pulse pump, so I didn't think it would just drain fuel. So there's a little bit of rust down in the throat, so I'm going to pull the bowl, get this thing cleaned up real good, and then we'll pull the spark plugs. You can see that yellow fuel or gold colored fuel had definitely been sitting the entire winter time. Yeah, so wasn't horrible with that old gas. You can see a little rust down in the throat of the carb. That's where water was sitting. Make sure to clean all this real good. It's wiping right out, so luckily it wasn't sitting there long. There's other spark plug. I'm pretty sure I wiped these down last time I tried to get it started, but we do. I mean, you can see a lot of black soot around the little dial there, so we might be a little rich. I'm gonna turn it over and see if anything blows out the port. All right, just gas out of the pulse pump. Okay, spark plugs are clean, and there was no moisture in the cylinder whatsoever. We cleaned the carburetor, put a oiled air filter on. Now I don't know if this carb, I can't remember, it's been half a year or more since I drove this thing. Can't remember how the jetting was, but we're not really riding it right now because we want to switch out that axle. But I'm gonna try to start it. I got fresh Renegade 110 race fuel because I didn't want to go get regular gas. And the Renegade race fuel, since it's true 100% gas, it's gonna last a really long time if this was a set. But I only put like half a gallon or so in it. So now the engine's running great. It fired up with no choke or anything. So it's running awesome. So now we can proceed to do the axle. I think both sides are warped, honestly. Should have never did this, but this swing arm is only supposed to stay on it a little bit of time. But I think since we got to do double A arm front suspension, we do it next. Like play on it some, do the front, like the steering is awful. Like, oh, it's awful. I'm gonna spray some blaster, but the whole way this front end was designed is no bueno. It's this right here is the problem, because it's like that one little tab is taking the hit for all that junk. And then this is, it's just the dumbest front end setup I've ever seen. So how you could make this front end a lot better is go Power Sports sales, and I've never got one of them in. I need to get one. A steering rack that's like a flat plate you bolt down, and it's a gear drive inside of it. You run the steering wheel in, and then it has two links side by side. So the best way to do steering is match your pivot point of your A-arms with, when your steering wheel's at dead center, your pivot points match your A-arm and your arm here. The other way to do it is like this, go dead in the center. I don't like to do it that way. So if you was wanting to upgrade what you got, you didn't want to do a bunch of work, you could buy that rack off Go Power Sports and mount it dead in the center right there, right here. Run your steering arm into it, maybe lean it a little bit, and then run your arms off and just make sure they're level, parallel with the A-arms. This front is just trash. It's got to be swapped out with double A-arm. But it's a good candidate. I really like these frames because they're easy to add double A-arms. Let me see if the steering's any better now. This is bearings up here, so it shouldn't be, but see how much flop there is in that thing? Blaster to the rescue. Thing is crusty. Oh, that's much better. This whole front end is just the silliest little thing I've ever seen. Just so silly. Battery's all charged up, so now let's pull the wheels off. Unbolt, we gotta pull that spring chain tensioner off. Then we take the master link off, and then it's just a bunch of 5/16 bolts. So use a 1/2 inch, drop these. And Go Power Sports did also come out with a new style bearing, which I like better than their old ones. It has the neck built on it. The ones they had before that's on this uses a lock collar that goes on and tightens up. Only problem is them overseas, they are a son of a gun to get out. These are much better for that reason. So we're gonna be replacing all of them with this style. So maintenance in the future will be better. get boo-boo, camera? Did you get boo-boo?
Jeepers, mister, you're really strong.
Alrighty, so I cut these axle flanges a while back when I first got my plasma cutter, and I don't know if this is a style I'm going to keep. You can see I ran 2 pieces of 1.5 inch tubing on the top, but if I would have used a modified version of this, it's just flat on top and has these ears, and welded those to the frame back when I built this, then I could have did the same thing and did 4 tubes, but I didn't. I am coming out with different style axle flanges for stuff like this on our website in the next couple of weeks. I gotta go pick up some metal and then we'll have them on the website. We have this style that will come with basically 4 of them. You get 2 of these and then 2 that are flat on top that have these ears, so you can do this connection setup. You can run all the way up to 1.5 inch in this, and you have plenty of area to weld to. And then we have the boxier style if you're using rectangle or square tubing like we used on the golf cart swing arm we just did. Sounds so cool, but it's not fun. I don't know how far I can actually drive in here because we're getting everything cleared out. Well, not everything, but most of it. Lord have mercy. So look at that. It's like so open back here. It's crazy. Getting it cleared out all the way down, and we're going to build an all new track. Oh, for some reason my tack ain't working. This thing's meaner than the son of a gun, but it handles like garbage. And the brake comes sucked in. be insane. But unfortunately, the front end is absolute garbage. Oh! They drove down here and we got a little opening. Let's go hit it. Didn't even know. Haven't been in here today. Okay, we'll hit that on the next go round. Holy man, this thing is crazy stout. Okay, now we're getting into the shrapnel. You have to be moving or it ain't doing nothing. We didn't get to ride this thing hardly at all when we built it because we bit the axles right off the bat. This thing is freaking fun. Oh, I can't wait to do the front end on this thing. This thing is insane, I'm telling you. Oh, I remember why the tack didn't work is this has a digital coil system and the tack's not going to work. We're going to leave the governor coils right now because I don't want to blow the engine up. It's the only one I got. And I really like this thing. We're going to put double AR front suspension next episode in this and proper steering, and this thing is going to be a freaking unit. feel my allergies starting to itch my eyeballs. Oh, that's nice. Woo!
Several days later.
Oh!
2 days in a row?
2 days in a row, Lonnie gets to ride things and make money doing it. That's living.
That's the life right there.
That is living. Screw real estate. Well, I don't know if we'll make enough money. So Lonnie's going to try out we never really rode it last time. We literally pulled my truck with it, and then we drove it up and down this little strip right here. You remember?
You did. I don't think I rode it at all.
No, you did.
Did I?
Yeah, you
I don't
launched
remember.
her. Yeah,
Been a
it's
while.
8 months it's been sitting. So now Lonnie's going to take it out, and the brakes are pretty good. You just got to like manhandle and push them a little bit, but because we're only working with back brakes.
Handle
But
the steering.
yes, your forearms are going to get a workout. So Lonnie's going to take it around and rip on it. I'm telling you, it raises up the front end, no joke, when you hit
I
stuff.
wonder if with me it'll just want to kick sideways a lot. Like
I would
when it
say.
starts spinning.
Yeah, I mean, it was spinning the entire time with me, so I can imagine. So Lonnie's going to take this hog out and give her a blast. I am going to get you launching as hard as you can when you do take off.
Right out the door.
Yeah. So we're going to roll this
Let's do
puppy
it.
out. All right, start your engines. Yeah. All right. Lonnie's going to... Huh? Yeah. Toe collar. Yeah. Sounds like a freaking monster truck coming through the woods. That thing is insane. It is, isn't it?
Got no turning to the left, and then if you turn anything to the right, it traps.
Yeah. It's crazy mean, ain't it?
Oh yeah. Now that's not bogging down, I'm gonna launch it here.
Launcher. Wait.
If this steering gets fixed, this thing's gonna be a monster.
Yeah, I got a double A-arm front suspension that'll fix everything.
I messed up. When I punched it, it pulled me to the right and the steering got all messed up, so I didn't get to jump it that second time. But the first time I caught air.
You launch her good, don't you? I think I'm gonna have him build a little pop-up jump right there.
That's what happened right here too. It torque steers like crazy.
It's awful, dude. It's freaking crazy though.
It's fun. I don't even know if it goes 45. It tops out quick.
Yeah. I have coils to get rid of the governor, but I don't want to do them because I don't want to blow the engine up. I think it's plenty.
That's a good, for woods riding, that's perfect.
It's crazy stout, isn't it?
Oh, that low in torque is awesome.
It's insane. I freaking love that. This is my #1 favorite engine. I say buy this over buying a 670 and building it. For sure, because it's right out of the box. You throw a Makuni on it, and the pulleys are extremely expensive. So these pulleys was $1,500. Almost $2,000, I think. So that's the only downside. You're gonna have,
after building the 670 and buying the pulleys for it, you're still cheaper with this.
Yeah, it would be the same, if not a little bit cheaper. So it's freaking crazy. What this thing is, I can't wait. We got
hard to steer.
Yeah,
my arm's hurt, and I only did 2 laps.
Yeah, but I rode it for about an hour yesterday, and it's just the chain works flawless with that tensioner. You hear it skip if you let out because we did a spring-loaded tensioner. So when it's rolling and you're not under power, it just skips the chain tensioner. Thing is freaking awesome though. So front end comes next month. We're gonna do full double A arm. I already have it sitting on the shelf.
I can't wait to ride it with a front end that I'm comfortable with.
And then we do later, we ride it for a while like that, and then do independent with reverse.
I can't believe coming up that hill, you gap it and it starts spinning instantly.
Yeah, it's unlimited power, dude. Oh, it's a haul.
And I like how skinny the frame is.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Widen the front a little bit, but the frame is nice and narrow.
Yeah, I do like that. That's why I was telling them earlier, this is my favorite frame, because we can add a hood area to hide that brake setup. So, you know, it like has a little cowl set up to it. But it's goofy looking with the front end, those big back tires, but we have the matching rear tires to put on it with the double A arm front suspension. So that's what I'm excited for. Yeah.
Dude, after riding it crappy, I can't wait to feel it right.
Yeah, the back is good. Like, I think the back feels good, but I want to do independent and reverse to it later. It deserves it for sure.
I was drifting that back turn.
Yeah,
I would come hauling through that straightaway and slam on the brakes and then hit the power, and you could drift right into that turn.
Yeah, it's unlimited power. It is a hoss. All right, guys, thanks for watching today's video. The freaking 999cc rips. I don't know why we let it sit out there. Life gets in the way, other videos, but this thing is a freaking hoot. So when we do the front suspension, we're going to do it all at once so we can get back to riding it, because I want to take this thing to Windrock with just the upgraded front end. No reverse, just like it is, and beat the far out of this thing and see what it can handle. So we're going to try to plan for that very soon. And we also got some goodies laying on the table right here that I think I want to try out. So a lot of people is telling us to get a bigger carburetor because we ran Go Power Sports 34mm Makuni on this, and it actually is running amazing with that carb. We do need to put a little bit smaller main jet, but pilot jet and everything, it's running flawless. The thing starts with no choke. It just runs amazing. But since this has governor coils in it, the coils is what's holding it at 4,000 RPM. I have an old set, or actually a new set of 713cc Duromax coils. So I'm going to see if these will bolt up on that engine, and that will get rid of the governor. Then I got some Performance 670 valve springs for a 670. We're going to see if these are thicker than the stock ones, because I don't want to bend a valve or anything in this engine. So later we're going to test out these and these coils. And we got this 42 millimeter Mikuni for a Harley Davidson. And this should be a better match for this engine and flow a lot better. Thing is massive. It also has an accelerator pump, which means when you come on the throttle, it gives an extra squirt of fuel, and thing is freaking sweet. So soon we're going to try this, but I really think we need to get the front end right before we go adding more horsepower to it. So we do have a full front end kit from Proto Light Racing. You can check them out. They sell front end kits, back end, like rear end kits for like if you're putting crotch rocket motors and building your own buggies. And I think we're going to use their AA arm kit because they sent us one to try out. So we'll be doing that in the next video on this chassis. Massive shout out to Go Power Sports for sending us out a new axle. We have destroyed so many of their axles, and I knew better to not run an axle without these extensions. But I was thinking, oh, we'd only run it for the video and then do AA arm rear suspension. But we're actually going to leave the swing arm for a while, so I shouldn't have never done that. So, sorry, Go Power Sports. We've run a bunch of their axles by doing this. You just can't expect a 1-inch axle to hold this much weight without bending. So definitely build these extensions, and check out the links in the video description for everything. Massive shout out to Go Power Sports and Duromax for sending this 999cc engine. And we're going to be making this thing better and better with every episode. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you so much for your support. We love you, and God bless.